Welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole with Melissa. I am going to be your tour guide down a pretty deep hole today because the topic that I'm going to talk about is sleep. This topic was inspired by some people that I really love in my heart, alumni friends, that with the pandemic, on top of some personal things they've been going through, they are finding sleep practically impossible. So if you know someone who's struggling or you struggle yourself, please listen in. I'm going to cover a lot of different things. I'm trying not to make my videos too long, so if I have to do a part 1 and 2, I might, but let's dive in. I've got lots of notes on this one. So what I wanted to get into was why sleep's so important. So you probably didn't know that when you sleep, your brain shrinks 60%. Can you imagine that? Your brain is shrinking while you're sleeping. Well, why would that happen? So the reason that the brain shrinks is so that you can detox. Your brain fluids need to detox. And think about all that brain does all day long. So you have a built-in mechanism for cell rejuvenation and rejuvenation of the cerebral spinal fluid through sleep. Sleep is really important. So those people who say, okay, I'm good, 4 hours and I'm good to go, that may be so because you're feeling like you're good to go, but the truth is it's not good for your brain. Your brain isn't really good to go. And sleep seems to be an issue from the time we're born until the rest of our life is finished. Those of you that have parented babies, it's all about their sleep schedule. Oh, they were up every 2 hours, and then, oh no, they're sleeping through the night. And sleep is like a major focus that we have when we have small children. And as they grow older, then you get into some nightmares and night terrors. And then they hit that teenage stage where, I don't know if you're like me, I remember going and knocking on my teenager's door and like, are they alive in there? Oh my gosh, it's 10 hours and they're still sleeping. Well, the teenagers had it right. They were sleeping right. That finally their body was like, I can't do this and I can't rejuvenate all this information you're giving me unless I sleep. I'm growing, I'm busy. So that was a good phase. Then we went into our work schedules and life and hormones and stress, and sleep gets disrupted. So one thing to know is that this is your nervous system talking to you. Well, it's actually me talking to you, but it's your nervous system when you can't sleep. So you have your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're taking notes, your sympathetic is your fight or flight response, and your parasympathetic, think of pair of slippers. That's how I always remembered it. It's that place where healing happens because healing cannot happen in a fight or flight mode. So we want to talk about, right now we're so sympathetic nervous system dominance that I'm not surprised that you guys can't sleep. So what do we do to tune down the sympathetic nervous system and bring up the parasympathetic nervous system, right? So one of the things that you have to do is understand why you have to sleep and then make a commitment to create a routine. Some of those routines are mental, physical, and structural. So let's say you have TMJ, or you grind your teeth, or you have pain in your body. So that's going to keep you up at night. So what I do for that is I found a phenomenal chiropractor, and I see her regularly. So I'm aware that if it's called your HPA axis, if that's off, and that's like your cerebral spine, cervical spine 1, 2, 3, if that shift is off, that affects the vagus nerve, which affects digestion, which affects your parasympathetic response, and it's just a whole chain reaction. So it's very important that you're structurally in alignment. That's super important. Let's talk about things that kind of screw up your parasympathetic nervous system and play it so that you are sympathetic nervous system dominant. Alcohol consumption for one. So alcohol consumption is definitely going to have an effect on your nervous system. Constipation. So what does that even mean? So here's the facts. If you are having less than 3 bowel movements a day, and you should be excreting 3 feet of fecal matter, if that's not in your routine, you're considered constipated. So take note of that. And if you have a problem with that, we can talk about that on another video, or you can direct message me. Prescription drugs. Prescription drugs play on your nervous system. So some people are on prescription drugs because they absolutely can't find any other way out of whatever ails them. And if that's the case, we just got to work a little harder that the rest of your life is toxic free. And maybe you can get off some of those prescription drugs. I don't know. My disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a complementary alternative healthcare provider and a holistic nutritionist. Mind wandering, lack of sex, lack of dopamine, electromagnetic field, certain foods that you eat. All of these things are going to interrupt your sleep cycle. Let's talk about what we can do to improve that. How about that? You good with that? So I would love you to take some notes because there's a lot of stuff here. Herbs. And if you have questions on herbs, I have a friend who's a master herbalist, and she's fabulous, and I would be happy to give you her contact info. But this is what I recommend for my clients. It's pretty basic, Herbology 101. Valerian, passion fruit, passion flower, German and Roman chamomile, lavender, lemon balm, ashwagandha, magnolia. Of all of those, what's proven to be the strongest is the valerian. I actually grow my own, and you can use the aerials and the root. You want 300 to 900 micrograms, and you can start with valerian tincture encapsulated and see how you do with it. Melatonin is actually one of the last things I suggest to people because your body produces melatonin. So if you can support your own body's melatonin rather than take more, that would be a smarter move. So how do you do that? Well, you have to have a bedtime routine. Bedtime routines aren't just for children, they're for adults too. So I have a client that has this cool setup in their house where at a certain hour, all of the lighting in the house goes to amber. And I think that's so cool, and I actually love to check into doing that for myself because blue light will tell your body it's daylight. So it tells your brain it's daylight and stimulates your whole entire being. Amber light is connected to the moonlight and helps produce that melatonin. So if you're watching TV or on your devices or on your phone, that is going to interfere with your body's natural circadian rhythms and your body's ability to utilize and use the melatonin. Intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is creating a feeding window for yourself. And why this is good is because the whole parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest. So let's say you're going to get up at 7 a.m. Let's create a simple 12-hour window where you stop eating at 7 p.m. and then your body is busy working on digesting that food. So by the time you're going to sleep, all the good nutrients are going through your body. Your body is not working to digest as much and can really work on the rest, recovery, and healing. Does that make sense? Women, it's really important to know where your hormones are at. Lack of progesterone will cause lack of sleep. A hormone that is a precursor to all of this, which is also very good for men as well, is called pregnenolone. So you may want to check into that as far as getting into a routine where if you feel that it may be hormonal that you're not sleeping. Limbic breathing. So there's lots of different breathing techniques, inhaling and exhaling for certain counts. The exhalation actually stimulates the parasympathetic response. So look into some different deep breathing methods. Essential oils. I love my essential oils. And I really feel like when I was so stressed out, sick from COVID, that the essential oils really had a major impact on my nervous system. For sleep, I love doTERRA's line. I have friends that do Young Living as well. I respect anything that is organic and responsibly sourced. I personally love the Roman chamomile and lavender, and use two products from doTERRA. One is called the Adaptive, which is got all kinds of things that are like neurotonics, food for your brain, and that's great for during the day or anxiety, and then at night, serenity. And then I'll take some essential oils, and I'll take the Roman chamomile and kind of put it on the collar of whatever I'm sleeping in, or maybe spray my pillows with it. Lavender on your feet, lavender on baby's feet is really good. So we got that. So rabbit hole part 2, I'm going to dive right into binaural beats. I sleep every night with binaural beats. And you have your alpha, beta, delta, and theta waves. And different brain waves work on different aspects of feeling. So I do better with delta waves at night, but some people do better with theta waves depending on what it is that you need. So what is a binaural beat anyway? So if you were to Google this and listen on YouTube to some things, it would sound very rhythmic. It's not white noise. It's very different. So let's say you have a certain amount of megahertz in your right ear and a certain amount in your left. I'll throw out some numbers. So we have 132 in the right ear and 121 in the left. What the brain does is that it synchronizes the difference so that you are now connecting to 11 megahertz of those numbers. So your body's working with the difference. If it doesn't make sense, that's okay. It's pretty intense science, but that's what it is. So what binaural beats are auditory illusions. Think of that. Like you're creating these auditory illusions. When I close my eyes, I try and envision like this lava flow. And while I'm listening, I'm sort of focusing in on this lava flow, shapes and designs, and you can come up with your own thing that works for you. And then if you close your eyes, and try this now, close your eyes, and with your eyes closed, look up. Now open your eyes, right? So when you close your eyes and you look up, this is a great tool for imagery. And sometimes if you get deep enough into it, you can start to see color. And if you do see color, let me know what color you see, because it's very significant what color you're seeing, and it's pretty darn cool. So listening to this will reduce stress, increase relaxation, manage pain. REM is your theta waves. Look to listen anywhere between 1 to 30 hertz. This puts you in a meditative brain pattern. And delta waves, my dogs are barking in the background, sorry. Delta waves for deeper sleep is 4 to 8 hertz. Alpha 8 to 13, that's for relaxation and positivity. Beta 14 to 30, you want that during the day. That's for alertness, concentration, and problem solving. So that would be more of a daytime type of beat. I like this YouTube channel called NU Meditation, and it has a little bit of everything. There's also some music out there that will start you in delta, end you in theta. That's pretty cool too, because then you're relaxing and then you go into your deeper sleep. But you have to do something, because what happens when you don't sleep and your brain does not get to detox is that you get a build-up of neurotoxins. And then you have to start worrying about those diseases that are connected to neurotoxins. And, you know, that's your forgetfulness and your Alzheimer's and all different kinds of things that have to do with a congested brain, for lack of better terminology. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the rabbit hole today. Actually could have gone on and on and on because it's such a great topic. And you got to catch a glimpse of one of my dogs. They're such sweethearts. I love animals. I think that that also raises my dopamine. Like if I can't sleep, I have 3 dogs in the house, and the golden retriever, he's always kind of next to the bed, and I'll just rub my feet on his fur. He likes it, I like it, it's win-win. Humming actually raises some of that parasympathetic response because it triggers the vagal nerve. Supplements also, Epsom salt bath, the magnesium in there via skin is great. HTTP, that's tryptophan. But let me know if you have any questions. I love talking to you guys, and I hope this is helping you. And be well and sleep tight.